What is going on? Brent back with another edition of Near Mint Musings, and I have got about 20 minutes in between riveting conference calls for work today on this Friday, and I wanted to make not one, not two, but three video responses to contests today, all in one fell swoop. So without further ado, gonna jump into it. As you can see, I'm rocking my Portland Mavericks throwback today. Shout out to Kurt Russell and those battered bastards of baseball. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into it. First, look at my list here. I'm going to respond to Joey. Joey brings it from the best coast, the West Coast, but we're up in the Pacific Northwest, so we're keeping it real. Still on the West Coast though, baby. Love ya. Joey asked us to, well, actually didn't ask first. He presented the veritable battle of the ages, vintage versus modern. Not necessarily to stir the pot, but just wanted to get some opinions, some ideas, some thoughts, and some reasons behind who we collect, or what era we collect, what type of cards. He listed 6 cards that if we had $20,000, what would we spend? 3 of them were vintage and 3 were modern. And I'm going to go with how Joey says it, vintage all day, every day. And you know, I've watched a lot of videos for the response to this already, and some of my thoughts are very similar to what I've seen and heard. It's just, I love modern cards. It's just so speculative and can be so pricey based on, it just seems like it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Hyperbolic. We're slaves to the hyperbole. And that'd be a cool name for a band. Slaves to the hyperbole. I'll have to remember that. In just today's society, and this isn't even a political thing, this is just the modern era that we live in. Everything is instant. Everything has to have an immediate response or immediate reaction. And I just think that we're so given to the squirrel, the shiny squirrel running by, that's it. That's it. We got to have it. Juan Soto, rookie, Chrome. It's a fantastic card. Is he going to be that great? Quite possibly. But he may not be. But after last year's World Series, man, did this card just go, right? So it's a wait and see. Fernando Tatis, 2016 Prospects on card, auto. Love this card. I bought this at the beginning of last year before he kind of blew up. He had a stint here in the Tri-Cities with the Padres single A team. Thought he was cool. Loved that he was, a junior following in his dad's footsteps. He got hurt halfway through the season. I mean, he's going to bounce back. He's 100% now, but my point is, you never know. You just never know. I think it was Stealing Second that said, Mike Trout's one blown knee away from maybe ending a career, or at least curtailing his otherworld trajectory that he's on right now. So you just don't know. But that being said, I mean, come on, right? And this isn't even a well-known player or a valuable card, but it's just the beauty of a 1949 Bowman with that blue that just pops. Or it's a 1957 Earl Batty rookie card. It just is minimal in its simplicity, but that equals just an amazing beauty that modern just can't match. And then if we want to go back to a T206, I don't even collect this guy. I'm not a Pirates guy, but this is just the epitome of a gorgeous pre-war card. and I wanted to show this one off as well. So my point is, everybody has their preference, and that's what I love about this hobby. And I will never begrudge anyone for having a preference different from mine. In fact, I like that. I like looking at other people's preferences and ideas. And I'm going to get to that, spoiler alert, in my next video response. But there's just something about not just the nostalgia of vintage, but just the assuredness that it's not going to depreciate. It's not. Mike Baseball Collector said it well. It's the tortoise that wins. It really is. And vintage is the tortoise. That being said, I got a 2020 Kyle Lewis 85 throwback refractor last night in a break from the new top set, and I'm over the moon for that. I like my Mariners prospects. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on them. If I get some, great. If I don't, I'm okay. But there's something for everyone, and that's the beauty and joy of this hobby. So what I wanted to show you, I'm going to turn this real quick. If I had $20,000 to spend on a card, I don't think I ever said that. Of the 6 that he mentioned, the Ty Cobb, the T206 green portrait Ty Cobb, I'd pick. Not a collector of Ty Cobb, but that's just my vibe. If I had $20,000, I want to show you the card I would buy. That is a 1901 Weezer Wonder Walter Johnson's postcard. There's only 2 in existence. And I won't go into the details of why I would want that, but there's a reason for it. And that sold for $18,000 in an auction about 2 years ago. And that's the one I would pick if I had the option of picking anything I wanted. Okay, so Joey, thank you for the contest. Love the idea. Moving on, we are now going to do a video response for the Essential Credentials. This is the brainchild of Matt and Greg. I love their channel. It focuses on 90s cards, a lot of 90 cards inserts, refractors, just the joy and beauty of the 1990s. I mentioned earlier that that's something that I love to see other people's passions and their expertise and their knowledge and their cards and their showcasing of them. And that really rekindled my 90s affinity for cards. And his video contest is he wanted to name one of your favorite episodes that they've had, and then B, what's your favorite 90s sets, base set, I believe. If not, no, that's what I'm showing. So anyways, my favorite episode is, I think I wrote it down here. Hold on. Episode number 19. That was all about the 90s refractors. I've watched this thing twice, and it's like an hour and a half long. It was a live broadcast with Matt, Greg, Nate, and Tanner. And they just showed off, I think, starting in 93, the birth of the refractor with the Topps Finest set, all the way through, I think, 2000-ish. And what I love about their channel and them is their almost just giddiness about 90s cards and refractors. Not just their extensive knowledge and just on-the-spot remembrance of different subsets and what didn't have what and how many there were and why they didn't release it a certain way or how many there were, which is fascinating to me. I mean, a very knowledgeable group of people. It's just the pure joy of showing these cards. And it's infectious, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that was a fantastic episode. I collect Edgar Martinez, and I'm starting to slowly procure some 90s refractors of Edgar Martinez, and a lot of that comes from this channel. Just the kind of the rekindling of the awareness and the seeing the beauty of these cards. So the other part of his ask was to mention your favorite 90s set. So one I will show. This isn't my favorite, but I had to show this card. The 99 EX Century. This is a Todd Walker. And I know, talking about Joey Brings It's contest in his ask about vintage versus modern, these are gorgeous. I mean, come on, just look at the technology. You got the acetate, you got the shine. One of the videos they just did was they kind of did a March Madness type of bracket for best 90s base sets, and this is one of the base sets that's represented. You'll have to check out that video to see who wins and the other candidates on that bracket. So my favorite 90s set is the 98 Skybox Metal Universe. And I have this whole set. This is just the epitome of 90s cards. And I mean, look at all that. What I love about these cards is, I mean, look at Travis Fryman. He's sliding into base, but they make it look like he's jumping into a pool. You got Paul Molitor running away from a bullet train. So there's some humor in the set. Ryan Sandberg. Of course he's running away from a rhino. Tony Clark. I mean, there's a lot of parallels here. He plays for the Tigers. His name's Tony. Tony the Tiger. I don't know. Or maybe it's an homage to the Naked Gun scene where the shortstop gets mauled by a tiger. I like to think that's what it is. And then there's just some beautiful, gorgeous cards with skylines. My man Edgar Martinez, the Space Needle. Barry Bonds, Golden Gate Bridge. Roger Clemens, of course, with a rocket behind him. Space shuttle taking off. The captain, Lady Liberty. Just gorgeous. And at the end of the set, they had some cool looking comic book type cards. Hardball Galaxy. There's a Ken Griffey Jr. Randy Johnson. Frank Thomas. So this is my favorite 90s base set, the 98 Skybox Metal Universe. So thank you to Matt Gregg, the Essential Credentials, for bringing this contest up. I appreciate everything that you do and are about. And last but not least, I'm going to do a quick video response for Eric at the Card Closet. And his simple ask was to show off your card closet. Well, I don't really have a technical card closet, but I do have a card display shelf with accompanying cabinet. So we're gonna call that my closet today. So I'm gonna grab this and we're gonna walk over here and I'm gonna show you. I have two others that are similar to this one I'm currently in my office, which I've kind of turned into my man cave / collecting domicile. So we're going to look at one of these areas over here and kind of give you an idea of what my place is all about. So let's go. So here we have some of my cards that I display. This shelf is my twins shelf. And actually, if you look right here, this is my staging area. These are cards that I either have to file away to put into boxes, and these are piles for fellow collectors, YouTubers, whatever, that will be sent out soon. Then you got this 1977 Time, Rod Carew, baseball's best hitter. Love that magazine. He was flirting with 400 at the time, so he made it on Time magazine. Anyways, this is my shelf of kind of more twins from like 70 on. So actually there's some older than that, like the Camilo Pasquale's older than that. Bob Allison. Got some cool pictures in the back. Catch that. Got the 65 Twins team. Got a modern day picture of Target Field. Got Craig Kusick in the back. Bert Blyleven, Kent Herbeck, Joe Mauer, Tony Oliva, Frank Viola, and then a great Twins card of past and present greats. Moving up, you're going to see my pre-war and vintage Washington Senators cards. Some of these have been showcased in previous videos. This shows off some of my favorite cards that I have. And then there's a picture of the 1924 World Series winning Washington Senators there, with Walter Johnson in the middle. And then the third shelf up here is, I rotate this one often. This is my Panamanian collection. So you've got Humberto Robinson, Mariano Rivera, Manny Sanguillen, of course Rod Carew, and this guy right here is Pat Scantlebury, and he is the first Panamanian player to ever play in professional leagues. Humberto was the first major leaguer, but Pat was the first to make the major league. I mean, not major leagues, but play professional baseball. And if you look at this picture right here, the 1947 Negro League champions, New York Cubans, he is on that team. And he is in the second row and second from the left. And then, of course, you've got Rodney Klein Carew, Panama's finest. And last but not least, going down here in my cabinet, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek of how I organize. So here we got all of my Twins cards. Senators, 60s Twins, 70s Twins, 80s Twins, 90s to current, and then some various players that I PC in small amounts. Got my One Touch, got my Jumbo Miscellaneous Twins cards. Then, of course, my big PC is Killebrew, so I have 2 boxes of him. If you've seen this system before, it's very similar to the Collazo effect, Mr. Collazo himself. I modeled this kind of after him and what he does. Nelson Cruz, currently on the Twins, and Walter Johnson are 2 players that I PC. So that's kind of a sneak peek into my closet. So there you go. I got 3 contests done in one video, and I'm under 20 minutes. I'm super proud of myself. You should be too. If you stuck this long, I appreciate you guys for hanging out, and I will talk to you all later. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day.